This week, American Magic have been caught trying to shroud their new mainsheet system. And of course, that just makes me want to show it to you even more. So let's have a look behind what American Magic are doing with their mainsheet setup and what it is about it that they're looking to obscure from view. So first of all, it's got to be said, American Magic have had this kind of micro boom mainsheet setup for a while. It's something we saw them put on the boat at the start of the year. They have gone back to the more conventional Emirates Team New Zealand system briefly, but have pretty much kept with this setup. But what we've noticed between all the different teams who have implemented a kind of a hydraulic ram set on the deck going forward is they've all varied how much kind of slip and slide they're allowing between the two mainsail skins. Obviously, these America's Cup boats, like the ones of the previous Cup, are powered by a twin skin mainsail attached to a rotating mast. And what this means is when the boat tacks and the mast rotates, you actually need the two mainsail skins to slide over each other in counter rotation to the mast so that you get a proper kind of aerofoil shape. So tuning the exact kind of differential or slippage between these skins is critical. And what we've seen is Luna Rossa have almost kind of like two strops, so the two skins can kind of rotate laterally against each other but not vertically. We then saw American Magic start off with something that looked pretty similar, but then more recently moved to a strop which looked to give pretty much a large degree of freedom vertically around, with basically a strop going around a low friction ring to the two mainsail clew boards. However, we see something different. So let's look at the video in question and you tell me if you think this is shrouding or not. Obviously important to say for context that shrouding is illegal in the rules, and yeah, any attempt to shroud or cover or conceal equipment which is to be launched and used sailing is against the rules. So I think this is pretty clearly against the rules. Whether anyone will bother to pick them up on it, I don't know. So you can see them looking directly at the Recon. They'll think it's pretty funny. And it does look pretty funny. Now, this is just clips from the video. I'll pause it there. This is just clips from the video, but it actually went on for quite a long time whilst the tech guys were working on opening up this mainsheet system and working on it. And what we can actually see between the legs, if you just press control, you can see my cursor. So down here is the mainsheet traveller, and that's moving on a track across here. You can just about make out between the legs. This bit of hydraulic ram up here, these attached to the two clew boards. There's obviously two of them. They attach to two clew boards, and from these little bolts here, they attach to strops which go down to this mainsheet system, which is what they're trying to keep us from seeing. Now, we have seen this system before, but there's a few changes to it which I'll point out in a moment, which they're maybe looking to obscure. But at this point in the time, they're actually taking apart this mainsheet system, and what the guy has in his right hand at the moment is the tube which their hydraulic mainsheet sits within. And this little bolt here with a rope attached to it, I think, is the end of the hydraulic ram. So that's pulling on a main sheet. There's then a turning point here, and then the sheet goes up to the two clew boards. I'll play a bit more. We get a bit of a better sight of it. You can see it moving around the ram there. He's got the tube that sits in his hand. And I think you can see this bit of movement down here. That is just him threading the main sheet through the turning point at the end of this micro boom. You can see another guy is pulling a bit of string through. I think he's like basically mousing the main sheet to connect it up. I think this guy I'm not sure why he's doing squats, but if we pause the video there, as he opens up his legs, we get a really good view of the end of the micro boom with its covers removed, and you can clearly see this large sheave here and the bearing surfaces going through, and this rope coming out the sheave is the main sheet that goes up to the clue. So a pretty good look at the system uncovered despite the shrouding. So this is the same day, and I'm not sure, maybe I'll use the photos to show you, but they're rigging up the system here, and what's different about it this day is this piece they've got in the hand, which is effectively a little yoke rocker. And during sailing, you can see this new rocker. So just to kind of fill in the blanks for you, previously they had a setup like this, where the main sheet went to a, if we look here, that went to a low friction ring. And it's a low friction ring, it's not a no friction ring, so there would have been a significant amount of friction on it as this strop goes and connects the two clue boards. You see this allows a little bit of vertical play between these two clue boards. So not only fore and aft they can move, but also vertically. And I think what this does, this bit of kind of vertical compliance, is it allows the windward skin to twist off more and drop down onto the leeward skin, and that makes sense basically for two reasons. So when you rotate the mast, the inner batten's inner sail is going to have more camber in it to make the same turn to this clue point, and that increased camber will make the leech of the sail stand up more and twist less for any comparative leech tension. So therefore you want to lose a bit of leech tension on your windward skin to allow that to drop down and sit against the leeward skin. So I think this is what the teams are playing with, and I think they've put this kind of strop, free running strop between the two skins to just allow that tension to kind of equalize between the two skins and keep them nicely aligned at the leech. However, you know, my gut feeling is that's quite a tight turn radius around here. I mean, obviously that's a very large low friction ring, but given the loads involved and the diameters of the rope, there would still be a significant amount of friction there. So they're probably not getting the degree of movement between these two clue boards as they would like. I mean, one thing to say here is, you know, what an improvement generally these kind of micro boom setups are. Previously, you would have had the hydraulic ramp for the mainsail going up between these skins and quite a decent separation between the two skins, whereas here the skins are just, you know, they're basically as close together as they can be. So that's the setup they did have. But on the day that American Magic are trying to hide this from us, they move over to this. And you can see he's got it in his right hand here. This is the main sheet coming up, and it goes to this kind of triangular piece. When we look at the video, it's a bit easier, I don't know, maybe a bit easier to see in this video. You can see the main sheet comes up, and then it's got this rocker effectively, which allows the differentiation between the two skins. Now, if this is what American Magic are trying to hide, then kind of a bizarre situation, because obviously, you know, we see it when it's on the water anyway, so they didn't really do that well hiding it. They were also not hiding it for a bit before, so I'm not sure if it was a bit of an in-joke, them standing in the way. But there is this rule anyway around shrouding. It's pretty clear, so you can't basically shroud any part of the yacht when it's about to be launched or has been launched, unless it's not being used that day. But the main sheet was being used that day, and I think the Recon team would be well within their rights to ask Magic to not only move the people out the way, but also remove the kind of physical protection cover, the neoprene, from the main sheet system to get a real good look. So do we think it's this rocker system which American Magic are trying to hide? Well, certainly a rocker system I think would have less friction in it than using that low friction ring, the thimble and the rope. and it is quite similar to what we've seen on the traditional main sheet systems, where they kind of sit, the hydraulic ram sits in a yoke, and it's actually pretty much identical to what Team Ineos Britannia have, and have been using both in their kind of traditional or more traditional boomless setup, but also when they've recently converted to a micro boom on T6, they've had this yoke which allows a little bit of vertical compliance between the two skins. So, are Magic really trying to hide anything innovative here? Well, perhaps it wasn't the yoke. The yoke was something that was definitely new, but perhaps it wasn't the yoke they were trying to hide, but they were trying to hide whatever was inside the cover when they unzipped and took the tube off, and the exact workings of that hydraulic ram. So tell me what you think. Do you think the yoke system is a winner for the main sheets? Or do you think something like a Lingy system with the free running main sheet strops is more likely to win out? And also would like your views from the wider community on what we think about the American Magic using their personnel to shroud components. Should the recon teams crack down on this, move those people out of the way, and actually take more of a look and make more requests for temporary covers to be removed as well from some of these parts? I'd certainly like to see that, and yeah, I'm sure if you get commenting as well, the America's Cup recon teams always take notice. So yeah, if we all gang up together, might be able to get the covers off this main sheet system. Take care, have a great Christmas, and see you around.